If you want your abstract painting to have depth, clarity, and color that actually works, you shouldn't actually start with color. At least in most cases in my paintings, I personally don't, and I found it really helpful. So today I want to share with you one of my favorite ways to start an abstract painting that actually helps me to work through the stages more efficiently, and the complete painting, the final painting, to have more structure and way more sophisticated and complete look. But before we dive into it, hey, my name is Esther Franchuk. I'm an abstract artist, painter, traveler, creative. I make videos about my studio life, creative livings, tips for artists and collectors, and so much more. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit notification bell so you will not miss any of the upcoming videos. I used to paint representationally before, and when I did, I always started with a sketch because it was like a particular scene or object, and it was like way easier to start with a sketch and then to choose colors to go with. When I transferred to painting abstract art a little bit more than 2 years ago, I realized that I have no idea what abstract art is, what is the structure, what is composition, how it's even applied to a painting. So my first initial response was to start with color. And what I learned soon enough that color in the very beginning can actually ruin an abstract painting. Color in abstract art is one of the main ways of expression. It's really powerful and it's emotional. It creates emotional response, so it is really important in the abstract painting. But when we put it too soon, it feels like it can just overwhelm, and without a clear structure underneath, which is composition in our case, it's really hard to create something that doesn't look random, doesn't look like a rainbow, or just flat. So one of my first abstract paintings, they just were all over the place. I put too many colors and then I didn't know which one to choose, which one to prioritize, what to keep, what to let go. It basically ended up with a huge mess of a rainbow on the canvas, and then I have to remove many of these colors. I have to paint over, I have to bring some structure back, and it was just really hard journey with really like fighting through and wrestling with those initial paintings because I just had been overwhelmed with how much color I put, and none of this was working. So what I do now, what I use instead of adding color right away, I start with really loose graphite beginning. So I use really minimal monochromatic supplies like charcoal, graphite, sometimes just some black paint or gray paint, like really limited palette, basically black and white, or as I said, monochromatic. So it really helps me to explore the structure, like really find out the composition, see what works like line-wise, what creates some kind of flow and structure inside the piece. So I, so to say, create some kind of grid that I can hold on to like in the later stages. And as I start with this grid or with this like initial mark making and line work, I see more and more of what is a tonal solution of the piece, where is dark, where is light, where is approximately the resting space. I map out my composition and my tonal solution, and it gives me such a strong underpainting to work with. And then I just keep adding some minimal color first, like I add one color, I see if it works, and it's more of still of like monochromatic solution. It's still more of tonal relationship, darks versus lights. So I have my darks, I have my lights, I have midtones, I have some kind of understanding of where things are and how they place. And even if I'm gonna change things along the way, because it's abstract painting, so it's really like asking in the layers for a lot of transitions. A lot of times like it really progresses and you have to respond of what painting wants to be. It's not always like you have an idea in mind and you carry it through to the end, but those initial stages, when they have structure, when you have this initial beginning, it just helps you to work more efficiently through the layers and just not feel lost, not feel like you have no idea what you're doing, not overpaint over and over the same painting, the same like spots on the painting all the time. So I found it working really wonders in the process. So I want to show you today how I do it.
Studio assistant is doing her job, I think.
She's monitoring the quality of this video content.
Yes.
And making sure there is like as many additional sounds in the recording as possible.
Absolutely.
She likes chewing on things the moment we start filming.
I think she approved. We can start filming.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's get a canvas.
What kind of canvas do you want to paint on?
Wherever we have available at this point. Because I started so many paintings and I need to order another batch of canvases, but someone in our business always keeps telling me that I couldn't paint on new canvases until I finish the canvases I already started, and I have like 5 canvases that I started and that are not finished. Oopsie. So yeah, I think it's a good step to finish first everything I have been working on so far. Everything I started while still pregnant, and I finally have the mental strength and capacity and time. Not that I have time, but I'm making time. Making time to finish all of the projects. Although I have so much new inspiration flowing and I couldn't help myself, but I think it is wise to finish. But now we're gonna do another start, but it's the last one, I promise. Or last before last, like second last, okay? Because there's still 2 canvases, I'm pretty sure, in the storage. So today we're gonna go with the second last, and then I have something super special that I couldn't not work on for the last.
Well, actually the real reason why Esther has to start a new painting every time is because we don't know what to do for the next YouTube video. And the easiest thing to do is just to start a new painting. That's why we have now unlimited amounts of unfinished paintings.
Well, it just, people love beginnings.
That's true.
And I love beginnings.
Julie
hating on that room.
You scared of the room?
She's scared of the storage room. I would be scared of that room. It looks messy. Oh, that's not so big.
It's pretty good.
Oh, I also have all of this stuff, hey? That I kind of want to finish.
Yeah, those the other times.
Yeah, that was about Eden. I want to do it. It's not satisfying anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I know for whom it is, though.
I know for whom it really is satisfying.
It feels small.
Now, comparing to the other ones, it feels really small.
It feels like a miniature piece.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's so interesting, Esther. You used to paint 30 by 30, which is half of this.
I know. I want to paint 30s by 30s again, though. Like for like a bit more fresh, like fully abstract series. So this format is actually really challenging for me composition-wise. So I not always like stick to a particular concept. Most of the compositional solutions that I use actually in my process work better on square or rectangle, like more traditional sizes. This size is always really challenging, but I kind of find out another solution today as I was painting on it, of how to approach composition in such long, thin pieces. My mistake, I feel like, not a mistake, but just like my initial response to working with composition in this format was just like create some kind of variation of still like balanced composition or overlapping of shapes, something in between, and just like really spread it out and have like to build relationship in between the parts, or go for like a landscapey, like more expanded landscape feel for it. And this piece I wanted to try something different because I didn't want the narrative of the painting to be like starting and ending and be like framed within the actual format of the canvas. So I felt like I want to kind of explore the idea of if I would take some other composition that I usually work with and just crop a part of it. So imagine that square, like this whole easel is a square painting, and then I just like crop part of it into what actually ends up on the canvas. And I really like it because I feel like this particular size works really good in interior, and it's kind of been trending lately within like interior design and like those more like decorative art world, to have things a little bit like cropped and go through the edges, which is not personally what I'm gravitating to when I paint, but I feel like this particular size just really works well with this kind of concept. So really excited to develop and to keep working on this one. But process-wise, I started with water-soluble graphite and charcoal, and I just started like going through the canvas, like really in my head trying to think higher or lower and just like drag the lines through and try to create some kind of grid. And then just layer more shades of like gray, a little bit of blue and purple. I want to go with yellow-purple color palette, most likely. Sometimes it changes as I work on it. So I started adding like minimal color to it, but towards the very end. First, I really created this kind of map where there's multiple overlapping of different line work and different mark making. So as they overlap, they kind of create those focal points or like points of interest in different places, and then you have to kind of prioritize some and leave the others. So somewhere is going to be a bit more contrast, sometimes a bit less. It still looks more or less even, but I have some centers, let's say here and there, and here I have the resting space. I put some marks to it because I just want to play around, but this is probably going to be way more minimal. And then the main focal point would be somewhere around here or there. Still going to decide in the process, but this initial structure just gives you a grid to work on, some kind of focal points and tonal solution, so it's a bit easier to build the next layers. So that what I realized is really helping me in my process to start a bit more minimal before adding color, because otherwise I just end up with way more flat look. And when I have this kind of grid, I have already multiple layers of depth and I have multiple initial shapes to work with. So it's really benefiting the process and the whole journey of this painting altogether. I feel like this process could be really beneficial for artists who like to work intuitively, because you have all of the freedom to create, but you have also, you're creating with intention. You have some structure underneath that you can hold on to, and those initial value layers will also show and peek through in the final piece as well, which will add more depth and history to your piece overall. And I also feel like when you're starting in this way and when you're starting with monochromatic, the color doesn't need to fight with each other, but it really just fits into those places over the structure, creating a symphony with it, and it's just a way better way, in my opinion, to work with it. Also, if you're interested in exploring abstract painting further, I created an abstract course when I take you through the whole journey of how I work with abstract painting. This is just one way of how I work and one compositional solution, but I have 18 go-to compositional solutions that can help you just to start your paintings with structure and then keep building on it. I also walk you through my whole process on 3 different paintings, start to finish, no time lapses, nothing sped up. So if it's something that you want to explore further, make sure to check the link in the video description down below to find out more. In one of the next videos, I'm gonna bring this painting further and start adding more colors to it. So if you like this one, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss out on the progress on this piece. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. We hope and pray I will not get anything on my new dress. I have an apron, but it always looks not so aesthetic on the video, so let's see and try if I can keep it clean till the rest of this painting session.
A few hours later.
Why you didn't tell me to take an apron? What should I do now?
Wash it.
I'm not gonna wash out.
I'm sorry.
Do you really?
No.
I don't think if I wash it now it's gonna help.
No.
I think I should just let it dry, no?
No. I guess that's the artist's life. Dress for a day.
I knew I have to use an apron. Next time you keep me accountable for that, because this is horrible.
Okay.
Somebody in the comment section, as always, will say, random scribbles, that doesn't make any sense, not inspiring. The immature me would still react to this. But at this point, I'm not like even, it's not like that I don't care even, it's just fun. I love hate comments more and more, because it's like, okay, like why would you even comment if it's like nothing you, like did you see my website, did you see what I make? Like it's literally clearly saying like beginning stages of a painting. Like do you think artists just paint from the very first brushstroke like a masterpiece and it's done? I don't know, but I feel like whoever is not an artist and not interested in art, because people interested in art, they know that like art progresses. And whoever is not interested in art or doesn't know the art processes, like I don't even know how those videos get ever recommended to them. But I feel like the videos that do have those hate comments actually go more viral, because it just, I don't know, spark an interesting conversation, get recommended, like it just really favored by algorithm, so I'm really enjoying them more and more. It feels like I'm doing something right.
Maybe people think that a painting is finished one little piece at a time, you know, in its final stage. But they have no idea about like layers and building it up.
Yeah, could be. There is art processes where you finish one square at a time, but it's not considered professional, like all of the professional, traditional, classical art schools. And modern art schools, like any art school, will teach you a layered process where structure comes first, and then you just build it in layers, and it's only like when you, I guess, self-taught and you just like try to finish 1 square inch at a time. It's like photorealism. I know some artists are doing that, which is like, I mean, it has place. It's just not considered like a normal, like traditional way of starting a painting or like working on a painting. And it's beneficial to work in layers because it has more life in it and like depth, transparency, all of the good stuff. It looks more like multifaceted, and I feel like nothing really offends me these days though. It's interesting though that I used to care so much about people's opinion, and I was like really fading out of the stage slowly towards my 30s. And when I got pregnant and I started like looking forward to like motherhood and my child and like this whole journey, it feels like it lifted such heavy burdens, like even more of like expectations and like meeting someone's expectations, and just like really knowing like what is my personal priority, what I have to do, what is my agenda, yeah, what is good for me, my family, my business, my child. And it just really fades all of the rest, because you like, I feel like when you're younger you really want to be accepted a lot more, but when you like step in a bit more into maturity and have your family, have more responsibilities, you understand that like if you care about every single opinion, which people gonna have opinions no matter what you do, like no matter what you do, how well you do it, if you're like, I don't know, genius and the most amazing artist, parent, like there's just no way to do anything in this life and not get criticism. So it's just not realistic. So if you're gonna be judged anyway, or we were talking about this with parenting also, there's like so much information, so many ways of like do parenting and everyone have their opinions about it, and everyone has opinions about food and diet and eating and politics and like you name it, like every single thing under the sun, people have opinions and strong opinions about it. So you will never really have like the same opinions with any other person on every topic, and you're gonna be challenged. So better do what you feel right and what works for you, and just like, instead of trying to meet someone's expectations, which you never will, you can just keep doing what you feel in your heart is right to do. Do your best, grow, and yeah, just don't pay so much attention. I like criticism, like healthy criticism, because it helps. It also helps you to grow. Like, it's good to be open to other opinions and ways of thinking, especially. But the thing is, when they are like healthy, they come without feeling judgmental, and they come from people who actually care about you and want to help. But random comments, like just yesterday, we were walking in the park, and the child was hungry, like super hungry, and she is like on the combined food, so it's like formula plus the breast milk. So she was snoozing and sleeping for a really long time. My bad, didn't wake her up earlier to breastfeed because we didn't have a bottle with us on the way, and we just had it to get home, because when she is fussy, she needs a bottle, like when it gets to this stage. But then she was crying, and it was in the park, so it's like public space, and then I don't know like how many women like passed by, were like trying to give me advice and like telling me what to do, like in the middle of the street, just like passing by, here's the child crying, like, I mean, I'm the mother, I know why it's crying, like what to do. Like, you don't have to give your unwanted opinions, but people still gonna do it. So I feel like it just builds some kind of resilience in a way, when you just like, okay, that's gonna happen, but how am I gonna react to this? I'm sorry it turned out into...
That's okay.
Philosophical.
Art and philosophy.
We're gonna name this video Art and Parenting Philosophy, or it's not even just parenting, just hate and opinions.